I need your opinion on what martial arts I should let my twins learn as they get older. Duelist the Great, we can absolutely get to that. I want to expand this out for a little bit and just ask, like, okay, if you want to take up martial arts, what should you keep in mind? I've been doing martial arts for most of my life, somewhere between 15 and 20 years. I have done a lot of different martial arts. I have done Aikido, I have done Tai Chi, I have done karate, I have done boxing, I have done wrestling, I have done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think that's all of them. So the thing about martial arts, and the thing you have to ask yourself is, like, what do you actually want out of martial arts? Like, what is important for you to get out of it? And, like, a lot of people will say self-defense. And here's what I'd say, right? I feel like in terms of self-defense, I have a very, very legitimate, like, combination of martial arts that I practice in terms of boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to the point that I would say in a one-on-one fight, I could take 90% of untrained people and it wouldn't be that hard. And I know that because of what it feels like to box a new person when they come into boxing, as well as what it feels like to grapple a new person when they come into grappling. Go watch the episode of Versus Wolves where I fight Wooly and Fox, and that is what it looks like when I fight a bigger person who is untrained. But what I would say is the ability to win a fight, I think, actually has, like, very limited utility in, like, the modern day. Because, like, I can beat someone in a fight if they come up to me and are like, I want to fight you one-on-one and no weapons and no, like, outside interference. Great. Awesome. When that scenario comes along, I'm going to kick that person's fucking ass. But would I want to? Because first of all, like, I don't want to hurt someone and I don't want to injure someone. I don't want to knock someone out because I don't want them to hit their head and I don't want to go to jail. You know, I don't want that shit to happen. And if at all possible, I just don't want to fight a stranger. Like, I really, really don't want to do that. I want to be able to get out of that scenario. And I never have. I've never been in, like, a street fight. There's been a couple of times in the last couple of years where I feel like someone was trying to start something and I was very unintimidated because I am confident I could handle myself in that scenario. And I think because I was not intimidated, it never escalated. And so I think martial arts are great for that. But in terms of, like, is there a perfect self-defense? There is no self-defense to 4 different people trying to punch you in the face. There is no self-defense to, like, a group of people trying to get you on the ground and, like, smash you. Now, in terms of women, I genuinely think it's great for women to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because because most women are, unfortunately, like, if they're facing serious danger, it is going to be a one-on-one scenario against an attacker. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a legitimate way to be able to defend yourself against that. You would still have to put a lot of work in to be able to get to that point, but you can get there. Some of the toughest people in my gym are women, and I would not want to be the fucking dude who attacks them by themselves. And so, like, what do you actually want out of martial arts? And I think one of the best benefits you can get out of martial arts is just, like, mental well-being. It is, like, knowing where your limits are and what feels good and what you like. And a part of that is going to be, like, what do you aesthetically like in martial arts? Look at people doing Muay Thai. Does Muay Thai look cool to you? Look at people grappling and doing Jiu-Jitsu. Does that look cool to you? Look at karate. Does that look cool to you? And here's the thing. If aesthetics are really super important to you and you don't care about self-defense and you don't care about learning to fight, then sure, you could go learn, like, the traditional styles of Kung Fu. You could go learn drunken Kung Fu. Go learn, like, crane Kung Fu. Go learn mantis Kung Fu. All that shit looks incredible. It's not very effective in a fight, but it looks dope as fuck, you know? But just make sure you know what you're learning and make sure you know its application. I still see people all the time swear up and down that Aikido can be used as, like, a legitimate form of fighting or self-defense. And I say this as someone who, like, likes Aikido. No, it can't. No, it can't. And I would really happily prove that, you know? And it's like, well, it's effective against untrained people. Sure, but, like, I haven't really seen much evidence of that either. I did Taekwondo for almost 10 years as a kid. I stopped ages ago, but in my instinct, I got into stance and ready to defend myself when I would feel frightened. Doing some martial arts as a woman for a longer period of time is so important. Thank God I never had to put it to use, but it helps knowing that I have some sort of skin to defend myself. Exactly, Melas Psych. And, like, even just, like, the comfort that would bring you in moments like that, I think that is valuable. And like that's what I feel from martial arts. Like if I'm walking alone at night in like, you know, like a not great area, I feel confident that like I'd be okay. And a part of that is, you know, that's an important part of martial arts. Now, if you want to fight, like if you actually want to learn to fight people, and fighting people is my favorite thing about martial arts, then I think you need to like think a little more seriously about what you're doing. There's a lot of martial arts out there that they don't have like a central governing body, and so it can be very like vague as to what you're actually learning. Say like Krav Maga. I feel like Krav Maga is like the go-to like business bros answer to what I want to learn Krav Maga, you know, like it's the most dangerous form of martial arts. But here's what I'd say. Here's a huge red flag for any martial art. If a martial art tells you that its techniques are too dangerous to be used in real life, there is a really high chance that martial art is bullshit. And here's the reason, right? Take the simplest possible move of any martial art you could learn. Say like just a jab in boxing, okay? A jab, at this point I have thrown thousands of jabs. Thousands of jabs. I will go up and down my kitchen just going bop, 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 throwing out jabs. And I still have like the most novice ass jab possible, because there is that much to learn. There is that much to master about a jab. And the reason I can land a jab when I'm sparring is because I have sparred hundreds of times with a jab. I have thrown so many jabs, and like I understand what it feels like to hit someone with a jab. I understand the range that I need to use a jab at, and like it took like dozens and dozens of hours to even get to just that like beginner level. You know what I mean? Then I see some people and it's like, okay, so what I would do in a street fight is I'm just vicious. So I'm just gonna grab your eye and tear it out. And it's like, okay, dude, how often have you done that? How often have you actually like ripped someone's eye out? And it's like, well, you just rip the eye out. And it's like, okay, what if they turn away? What if they shut their eye? Like, even if you get your hand and just like try and grip your own eyeball while you're clenching fully, it's actually like not easy, you know? And then like I see people say the same shit for like, well, I'd kick someone's knee in. Are you fucking serious? Like, you think that you would have the precision and power to kick someone's knee in one of the most stressful, high velocity moments of your entire life, and you've never done it before? That's insane! Like, that's crazy! Like, I know how to catch someone in a cow catcher because I have caught like dozens of resisting opponents in a cow catcher and hit them with it and gotten them on the ground. A cow catcher is like my favorite takedown, by the way. It's just a absolutely beautiful takedown. I love it so much. But I've performed it over and over and over and over and over. And that's how I know it works against people who really, really, really don't want to get taken down. And so when I hear people talk about all this like, oh, I could never actually do it in real life. I would take my palm and I would slam it upwards into your nose, and it would send your nose bone back into your brain stem, and that's kind of how I would kill you. And that like if my life feels threatened, that's what I'm doing. And it's like, my dude, you are talking about taking the softest part of your hand and just slapping someone in the face with it. If you have never done that, you have never done that. If you are not fighting, you are not learning to fight. If you don't know how to fight, you don't know how to fight. And that sounds like such a simple thing, right? Like, that sounds like such a simple thing. But, like, these arguments are still happening all the time. And, like, I still see people constantly be like, well, you know, this martial art would actually be the strongest. It's so deadly that no one can do it. And it's like, it's the same old fucking scam. You know, like, it's the same scam. It's like, you can only perform techniques that you can practice. So, yeah. So, okay, look, in terms of what you should get your kids to learn, I would give them a little smorgasbord. Here's what I would do. I would take your kids to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'd let them do a month of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'd take them to karate. I'd let them do a month of karate. I'd let them do a month of Muay Thai. I'd let them do a month of boxing. I'd let them do a month of wrestling. And then afterwards, I would be like, hey, what did you like? What was your favorite? What was the one that you got the most enjoyment out of? That's how I would handle a kid with martial arts, and then just let them pick which one they wanted. If you want to learn to defend yourself, I think the best way to go about it would be learn one striking art and spend a year learning that striking art, and then one grappling art and take a year learning that grapple art. I say like boxing or Muay Thai, or wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Judo as well. I think Judo as well is also a really, really great martial art. And if you want to learn to fight and you want to fight frequently, maybe MMA. The only reason I'm reluctant to tell people to get straight into MMA is because I think you're going to have a much easier time with MMA if you go into it with a background in grappling or a background in striking. So at that way, like, at least you know how to... So like, say if you go in with having like already knowing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that means from day one of MMA, you'll already have a game plan. You'll already have things that you can work towards because you know that you're good at this Americana from side control. So at least now you have like you have a destination when you're fighting. I always think the idea of starting out raw MMA sounds like quite intimidating and probably like very, very difficult if you're just coming from like zero martial arts experience. But yeah, but look, try a bunch of martial arts, see which one you love, and just remember, like, why are you doing it? If self-defense isn't a concern, absolutely fucking go off and learn White Tiger Crane, Apocalypse Meteor Kung Fu, and have a great time doing it, you know? And pick a good gym. Pick a gym with a good vibe. Pick a gym where it feels friendly and everyone's there to learn with each other, and not a gym where everyone is going to take the fact that you're a newcomer to just beat your fucking head in. But yeah, that is my that is my advice on learning martial arts.